Good morning, and welcome to an all-new Eye of the Tiger. I'm Tobin Thomas.
And I'm Will Joseph.
Roseville High School's annual Spring Carnival is tonight from 5:30 to 7:30. Admission is 50 cents for all students to experience many activities and games.
So this year at the Spring Carnival, we're having a free petting zoo for everyone to come and join. There's going to be mini cows and alpaca, bunnies, just a bunch of those. And we have a lot of booths this year. So there'll be lots of games and like cotton candy and popcorn, just ways to get involved with our community and other elementary schools in the area. It's going to be at 5:30 to 7:30 in the Patty Baker Quad, and tickets are 50 cents each. So super cheap. So the Multicultural Festival is a great way to just connect with other communities within our school. So we have LSU coming out, bringing food and playing games, and we have French Club coming out, and they have sodas and crepes and stuff like that. It's just like a good way to just connect, for sure.
Now we go to Tyler Ritter with sports.
Good morning and welcome to this Friday's edition of EOTSN. I'm Tyler Ritter. We had a lot of game action this week, so let's get right into it. Starting with boys volleyball, the team had 2 games this week, beating Placer 3-1 on Tuesday and losing to River Valley yesterday. The team's record now moves to 4-5. Moving over to the mats, Stunt hosted Sutter and 12 Bridges on Wednesday, beating Sutter 24-1 and barely losing to 12 Bridges 13-6. The team's record now moves to 4-4 overall. Next, with baseball, the team also had 2 games this week, beating Del Campo 10-1 on Wednesday thanks to senior John Vicente, who went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs, and senior Kyle Pedersen, who went 3 for 4. The Tigers also beat Del Campo yesterday 12-2 thanks to Colton Wolf, who was 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs. The team's record now is 7-4 in the league, and they play Del Campo tonight. Moving over to golf, the team beat Placer on Wednesday with the help of junior Buzz Ostrom, who shot a team low of 41. Yesterday, the team lost to River Valley, moving the record to 6-3 in league. Moving over to the field, both lacrosse teams had 1 game this week, with the boys beating Lincoln of Stockton 17-14, thanks to 4 players having 3 or more goals. The girls also beat Oakmont 16-14. In other sports news, athletes interested in having their highlights featured on the new sports intro, scan the QR code on the screen now. As for the game action tonight, softball hosts Del Oro, tennis is at Del Campo, both lacrosse teams play Wood Creek, and baseball is at Del Campo. And that's all for your home on Roseville High School sports, top plays, breakdowns, and more, out of the Tiger Sports Network, EOTSN. And now we go over to entertainment.
Thanks, Tyler. Wednesday, Nintendo decided to upstage CinemaCon by live streaming the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct on the very next day. In a little over an hour, we've learned a lot about the future of Nintendo. Some of the highlights are the new Joy-Cons, Nintendo's Discord ripoff, and the game announcements for the year. The new Joy-Cons, on top of the original function, can now operate as a mouse. It can be dragged across the surface to function like a regular wireless mouse. And to prove that this is cool, because obviously, what the hell, Nintendo debuted wheelchair basketball. You're in a wheelchair, and you rub your Joy-Con on the table and flick it to shoot. I'm all for new function with a new console, but there has to be a line. Alongside the mouse function, the Switch 2 also comes with a built-in voice chat so that you and all your nerd friends can scream at each other while playing Mario Kart. Supposedly, it picks up your voice even from across the room so you can hook up the Switch to your TV and offers noise suppression, just like Discord, or FaceTime, or sitting in the same room as your friends. I think this is kind of pointless in the grand scheme of an entire console for a few new features. But that's just quality of life stuff. What was really important in this Direct was the game announcements. There weren't many new ones, since the aim of the Switch 2 was to offer upgraded versions of beloved classics like Breath of the Wild, but there were a few. Some notable ones are Mario Kart World, 2 new chapters of Deltarune, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. And buried at the end, in a 5-second clip of My Goat Hornet, was a confirmed 2025 release date for Hollow Knight Silksong. Sound the alarms, run to Twitter. Team Cherry has finally decided to keep stringing us along. The Switch 2 will be released on June 5th for a grand $450. That's more than I make on a paycheck. For reference, the original Switch at launch 8 years ago was $300. On top of the predicted $80 price tag on Switch 2 exclusive games, I better never see an inch of stick drift or Wi-Fi issues ever again. That's all from me. I'm Melissa Davis, and now we go back to news.
Thanks, Alyssa.
Every week, RHS seniors go to a local elementary school for an internship. We go to Mackenzie Trejo with more.
4 days a week, a select few seniors go to Catherine Gates Elementary Schools to assist teachers in lesson planning and to help students learn.
It starts at 8 in the morning instead of like 8:30 here. You get there at 8:30 and then it ends at 9:30, so it's just kind of like a first period, and then from there you just drive over here. But a typical day there would kind of be, it just depends on who your teacher is and how much freedom they give you. So usually a typical day with me is working one-on-one with like specific students that need a little more help than others, maybe grading. I do spelling tests for them, and occasionally we just do like fun games and stuff.
So we start like at the office and we check in and everything, and then we all go to like our individual classes. And my class is 5th grade, so and like the hours that I'm there, they're doing language arts. So sometimes I'll like grade papers if I need to, and then it kind of depends on like what teacher you have. But I sometimes like lead like small group lessons or read, like they have like a novel they're reading, so sometimes like I read it, ask them questions like while they're doing that.
The Education Pathways course consists of 3 different classes, all dedicated to learning about child education. The classes vary from caring for a fake baby to interacting with and teaching real kids.
So to be able to take the class, I think usually you would have to take the 2 classes before it. I got to skip just because they needed more people, and this is the first time that they were doing it, so it wasn't really known. And in order to have the class, they needed more students, so I was able to skip 1 and 2, and this is class number 3. So I believe in the future, yes, you'd have to take 1 and 2 to be able to take this class.
No matter which career path is planned, the students who take part in this class get a chance to learn how to interact with kids in all age groups and at all levels.
What I want to do in the future is become an elementary school teacher, so I think this is a perfect internship for me and a perfect opportunity. I know not all of us that are in the class are becoming elementary school teachers, but most of us want to work with kids, so I think this is a perfect opportunity to really get to know and like really see if this is really what you want to do in the future.
I want to be a firefighter, but it was good college credit and I work with kids, so it was kind of good to like get to know how to like work with bigger groups instead of just like one-on-one like how I usually do at work.
Students who have taken this course come out feeling stronger in their abilities to teach and care for younger students and with a clearer picture of what they want to do in the future.
Personally, this has been my favorite class in all 4 years. I love working with children. I think it's a great experience. I know everybody's gonna have to deal with it at least at some point in their life, and I think this really just it's something that everybody should experience, and I really recommend taking the classes, especially if you know you're going into something that has to do with children, to really know their behavior and how they act and what you as a person can do to really help them grow.
Thanks, Mackenzie.
That's it for us today on Eye of the Tiger.
And remember, we're always on at eyeofthetigernews.com. See you next time.